can't believe I'm about to say this, but Jeff Nippard is wrong. One of his recent videos, he was breaking down what is the best split for guys to make the most gains.
I made the best gains that I've made in years. I'm feeling S tier plus.
To grow the most muscle and ultimately to get lean and jacked the fastest. And he ranked them well, gave solid reasons, his scientific evidence was spot on. But he missed one. He missed the absolute ultimate split for skinny fat guys who want to get lean and jacked. Split that I have used for hundreds of my coaching clients to get them seeing huge changes in the mirror. A split that is insanely popular amongst the majority of them. And a split that, in my humble opinion, rules all. And Jeff never even mentioned it. Well, in this video, believe it or not, I'm bloody well going to. I'm going to reveal this secret little training split, and I'm going to compare it with Jeff's top ranked splits. And ultimately, I'm going to tell you why, for guys like yourself who want to go from skinny fat to lean and jacked, it's the best one you can be doing. Then I'm going to give it to you to download for free. Sound good? So let's get to it. Okay, so let's first quickly break down what Mr. Jeff Nippard concluded was his top 2 gym splits. So as you can see here is A-tier splits with a full body split and the upper lower 4-day split. Now Jeff himself said he preferred the full body over the upper lower, so we can move forward as split number 1 being the full body split. Now let's start off with saying I think the full body split is a great split. Reason why I think it's a great split is that it keeps things very balanced. You're hitting basically 1, maybe 2 exercises per muscle group every single workout, which means nothing will ever get missed. So this is great for guys who are a little bit up and down with their weekly frequency. Everything gets hit with a decent amount of volume every single week. So to be honest, this split I would also rate A tier. It's probably the number 2 split I would have in my own ranking system, but it's not as good as our number 1 ranked split. So we're on to that in a bit. And it's just a little bit suboptimal in terms of pushing for real muscle growth, breaking down the muscle fibers with enough volume each session, letting those muscles repair, recover, and come back stronger over the weeks and months. Okay, so moving on to Jeff's top tier split of all of them, which was his 5-day upper lower push-pull leg split. Again, not a bad split at all. Can't really argue with it too much. It was the same split that he used himself for his massive 1-year transformation. So for effectiveness, it is an A+. But here's the issue that I have with this split and why I would rarely program it for any of my own clients. It comes down to 3 key issues. Issue number 1, it requires 5 days per week, absolute non-negotiable. The full body split, it doesn't have a specific number of days that you have to show up, which is why I rate it over this one. 5 days is a lot every single week. It requires very little flexibility and a lot of commitment. And in my almost 15 fucking years of coaching men to helping them get lean and jacked, I can say with the highest level of confidence that 99% of blokes out there are not going to be able to stick with 5 days a week long term. They might say it's going to happen, but trust me, in my experience, that always dwindles down to around 3 or 4. Issue number 2 is 2 leg days. Technically, it's a leg day and a lower day, but we both know that basically means 2 leg days. Again, nothing wrong with 2 leg days, but getting most guys to adhere to and stick to and consistently do 2 fucking leg days every single week, that's a bit of a challenge. So there's going to be a lot of blokes on this program skipping those days. It's guaranteed. Therefore, we start running into some problems. Issue number 3, which kind of ties into issue number 1, it's not enough rest days for your typical bloke. Guys who don't necessarily have the optimal amount of rest, nutrition, lifestyle. This is a demanding amount of physical workload and it can result in a lot of fatigue. And for guys like Jeff who, this is what they do, this is their life, no fucking problem. But for the average guy who struggles to balance all this shit, it's a lot to ask. Don't get me wrong, Jeff's a very smart guy. He's much smarter than me and his research is spot on. But I've been coaching guys in the real world for almost 15 years. Blokes who don't have hours and hours to train every single day. Who need something that works for them consistently and not just optimally in theory. So, full body, a little bit underpowered potentially. 5-day split, a little bit too demanding. So we're stuck in the middle. And that's where this golden split comes in. So, what split would you recommend, Aidan, for skinny fat guys no longer in their early 20s looking to get lean and jacked? So apart from the most correct answer that I can give you, which would be whatever split that you can stick to the most consistently, if I was to narrow it down for you guys, it would need to fit this 4-part criteria. 1. Maximizing hypertrophy. Just like I mentioned earlier, a split that gets a decent bit of volume on each muscle fiber to get a proper stretch, pump, break down the muscle fibers and promote growth during rest and recovery. 2. Not needing so many days. It needs to be no more than a 3 or a 4-day split, because that is what's realistic for 99% of guys out there. 3. Allowing for a little bit of flexibility. The odd session is missed, which can happen because of life. It needs to end up not being so critical. Finally, 4. Adherence. Basically, it needs to be a split that you actually enjoy and you can stick to, and it's not one that you have to feel like you're pushing so hard to grind through it and it's miserable. Basically, if it's too many leg days, you won't do it. So, with all that in mind, this is the best split. It is the front-back split, also known as the anterior-posterior split, also known as the full-body push and pull split. So, here's what it is. It's a 4-day split typically. One workout, you work all the muscles down the front of your body, pretty much like everything that was involved in pushing or raising movements. The quads, they're lower body push, where you do your squats, extensions and your presses with your lower body, with your legs. Chest and front delts is where you do your upper body pushing movements, so your chest presses, shoulder presses, incline, flat, decline, also a little bit of chest flies. Lateral delts, they get hit on your shoulder raises, and your triceps, which I know technically it isn't the front of your body, but they get involved in all of your pressing movements. So that is front/anterior/push day. The other day is the opposite, so back of your legs, hammies and glutes, that's where you do your hinge movements, deadlifts, hip thrusts, leg curls, and onto all of your back muscles, so the pull downs, rows, wide grip, narrow grip, making sure that you do all the 4 movements that hit across all of your traps and lats. Rear delts as well, so that'll be like reverse flies. Your biceps, again, I know that's not the back of your body technically, but that's what gets involved in pull downs and rows and curls. That is back/posterior/pull day. So the idea, surprise, surprise, is to do front one day and then back the next day. Then you would rest and you would continue to alternate between the 2 days. So let's go back to our previous criteria to see if it checks all the boxes. So first up, does it maximize hypertrophy? Yes, because it breaks the body into 2 sections. That means you can hit anywhere from like 4 to 8 sets per muscle group in that single workout. And then you have at least 2 to 3 days of rest and recovery before those muscle groups are going to be hit again, which is kind of the perfect amount of recovery time and frequency to maximize muscle growth. Next, it's a 4-day split, which fits our realistic frequency requirements of 3 or 4 days a week. Again, I know there's going to be some of you guys shouting at me through your screen saying, I can do 5 or 6 days a week, bro. Yeah, you can on a good week, but I guarantee it's not every fucking week. Things happen, family events, long hours at work, just feeling shit one morning. Days get missed, it's inevitable. And you need more rest days than you think. Following on from that, the next point, does it allow for some flexibility? This is where it's so much better than Jeff's 5-day split. In a perfect world, you stick to this split 4 days a week. I mean, in a perfect world, you stick to Jeff's split 5 days a week. But we don't live in a perfect world. Some guys will stick to it 4 days a week religiously, but other guys need a little bit of flexibility. Some weeks, realistically, they might only manage 3 out of the 4 days. And on the odd bad week, they can only do 2. This caters for this, so long as you continue cycling around with the program. So let's say 1 week you only do 3, so that'll be front, back, front. As long as your first workout the next week is back, so you alternate to the one that you didn't do last, you just carry on continuing through them. Then over the weeks and months, it's going to balance out, so the net amount of workouts over an entire month, over an entire 3 months, it's going to be very balanced between front and back. Is it super optimal doing it this way? No, not 100%, of course. But it is way more optimal doing it this way than trying to follow a 5-day split and constantly missing muscle groups every single week and starting over. And you also hit a greater amount of volume on your muscle groups potentially than if you're just doing a full body split. It's not definite, but likely you will commit to more volume on each area. Final point of criteria: is it enjoyable to stick to? Can you adhere to it? So first off, from personal experience, coaching hundreds of guys and programming a lot of them with this split, the response from my clients is overwhelmingly positive. Guys who are used to a bro split or push-pull legs, they still get that push and pull kind of workout vibe. Guys who do full body, they still have an element of that. It's just broken down a little bit more, so they get a bit more of a targeted body pump each session. Across the board, because there's no actual technical leg day, it's actually quite a popular alternative in that sense. You hit your squat movement and then you get to move on straight to chest and shoulder presses. A bit of deadlift or leg curl work, and then you can immediately move on to blowing up your back. From a mindset perspective, with leg work, for a lot of guys, it's very effective. And here's some of the results on my program that is capable of producing. Like Ollie here, he was a powerlifting guy, he got a lot of injuries in general, and he moved on to this split and became more jacked looking than he's ever been. My guy Zach, he tried to get into calisthenics, full body workouts, couldn't quite make it stick, and then this got him seeing huge gains. And Dan, who was a bit of a bench press day and an arm day kind of guy, constantly skipped legs, he just didn't train very effectively, but he got on my program and we did things this way. Anyway, that is, in my humble opinion, the best split for skinny fat guys who want to get lean and jacked. Hopefully I didn't blab on too much, but I really wanted to explain why others may not be the best fit for you and what kind of criteria you should be looking out for when choosing your workout split. If you want a free program using this very split, it's exactly what my 2-set shred program gives you. Get your hands on it in the description below. Gives you a free program to download, and also how to implement and use my low volume 2-set shred method to get you growing more muscle with less time in the gym. So feel free to grab that below. It'll give you something to follow and to get started on. Or for this free program and a full step-by-step deep dive breakdown of my entire skinny fat to jacked 4-phase system that I coach my own clients through for their insane body transformations, you're going to want to stick around and click this video right here. So anyway, hope you found this video useful. Any comments, feel free to comment below. Click this video here and I'll chat to you soon.